welcome back to Emily Essentially. Today I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite beauty hacks, how to depot one of your MAC eyeshadows and be able to place them into something much easier to use like a Z palette here. One, it's going to save you a ton of space in your makeup collection to either downsize or, let's get real ladies, add to your collection. And two, you're able to recycle these plastic cases back to your MAC cosmetics counter, and for every 6 that you turn in, you can get a new product. If you head to a department store like a Macy's or a Nordstrom, every 6 will earn you a brand new MAC lipstick, but if you take one of these puppies to one of your freestanding stores that you have nearby, you're able to trade it in for a wider variety of products. So if you've been in the market to pick up some new MAC products, but you don't want to spend any cash, think about finding some of your singles and depotting them and putting them into a Z palette. Next, I'm going to show you the products you need to get started, and then I'll demo for you. So let's jump on in. Let me share with you really quickly what you'll need before we jump on into the tutorial. Obviously, you gotta grab your MAC shadows, so here are a bunch of my still potted eyeshadows that I'm gonna be working with today. Then it's gonna be important for you to go online ahead of time or visit one of your beauty stores to pick up something like this, a Z palette. I got mine off of Amazon, and it actually came with these really nice magnetized different stickers that you can put on the back of your depotted shadows so that they anchor in here really nicely for you. Then you're also going to need some wax paper and a straightener so that we can melt the eyeshadow out of its casing just slightly to loosen it up. You'll also need a sharp object like a knife here so that you can initially pry that potted portion out of the plastic casing. You'll also need a Sharpie or a permanent marker so that you can relabel the back of your depotted shadow so you don't forget the name of it, so when you love it and it's gone, you can replace it easily. And then last but not least, you're going to need a thumbtack to help you push out the eyeshadow from its casing. If you don't have one of these handy, you could also use something like a needle. And you'll also need some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. Once we melt that shadow slightly out of its plastic casing, you're going to be left with that glue residue on the back of the eyeshadow that's really gonna make it hard for it to stick into the Z palette easily. So that rubbing alcohol will get rid of that and enable you to write the name and put the magnet on the back so that you're ready to go. So let's jump on in and get started. Grabbing your MAC shadow, go ahead and open the lid and then flip it to the side where the closure is and find the crack or the break in the plastic where the two pieces snap together. You're going to want to grab your sharp object like the knife I'm using here to kind of poke into that crease and pop the actual shadow from its protective plastic casing. Now that we've carefully removed the shadow from the outer casing, go ahead and flip it face down on several pieces of wax paper. This is going to help to protect the integrity of the shadow now that you're clamping it inside of a heated up straightener. Make sure it's no hotter than about 300 degrees so that you don't overly melt the plastic. What we're doing here is essentially loosening up the glue that's holding your shadow tin into that last bit of black plastic you see so that it'll make it easier to remove and be able to put into our Z palette. I'm grabbing a push pin here, but you could use a needle, finding the center of that back of the plastic and pushing it through delicately. This is going to loosen up your shadow tin as you can kind of see the edges lifting up. Just keep pushing, and sometimes you can get a finger in there or the shadow will pop itself out once the glue has melted and peeled away, and you're on to the next step. Be sure to pop the rest of the black casing into the outer shell, and then that's something that you can return to the MAC store. There's still some of that sticky glue residue on the back of the shadow, so I'm grabbing some rubbing alcohol here on a paper towel to help scrub any of that residue off of the back so that I've got a nice clean surface to adhere my magnet to. This one was pretty stubborn. Some will come off with more glue than others, but I definitely took my time to make sure that I had a perfectly clean surface and even scratched a little bit of that excess off so that the magnet would stick evenly. Then I grabbed one of the Z palette circle magnets and got rid of the plastic backing, and then had that sticky surface placed onto the back of the shadow so that it will stick into the Z palette magnetized nicely for you. Then I referenced the old casing the shadow was in for the name and wrote it on the back of the magnet so that I'll always know for future reference that this one here is called Steamy. This will help if you really love a shadow and want to repurchase the next time. Then stick it in and you're all set. Thanks for checking out my MAC eyeshadow depotting video. I hope that you found it really informative and you're gonna get tons more use out of your shadows now that they're in a Z palette like this. It's gonna make your collection that much more accessible to you on the go. If you liked this video and found it really helpful, please hit that like button and be sure to leave me a comment in the section down below letting me know what other kinds of beauty hacks and videos you'd like to see next here at Emily Essentially. Also, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all the latest content here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.